So listen, yeah, the original intro for this video was going to be 3 videos back to back of TikTok users just saying how black British TV shows and movies are all the same. The gang warfare, knife crime, gun crime, all of that. I saved them with the intention of using them in the video, but when I went to download them, 2 of the users had privated their accounts and one of them deleted the whole video. So let this be a lesson to download right away. Anyway, you've probably seen these videos and might even share a similar sentiment. If this was 2009 or even 2015, I would have agreed. I've mentioned in the past how director Destiny Ekaraga was met with confusion from investors on why her comedy movie, Gone Too Far, wasn't about drugs and knife crime. And a few years back, I did work in independent studios and interviewed screenwriters and directors who have faced similar attitudes when pitching their projects, although some were able to gain small successes in turning their web series into TV shows. The majority of black British film and television being all about gang crime is not the case anymore. I left comments under all 3 videos saying that while I understand where you're coming from, it's clear that you have not been paying attention to the last few years because we've quietly been having a black British TV and film renaissance. So for Black History Month, I want to put you lot on to some movies and TV series you may not have heard of and highlight black British talent in front and behind the camera. And you might want to pull up justwatch.com so you can check where things are available to watch internationally. This would be the best place for a VPN sponsor.
If I had one!
Moving on, honorable mention Supercell. I remember first hearing about Supercell going into production at Netflix ages ago. The creator, Rap Man, rose to prominence on YouTube with his hip-hopera musical crime drama Shira Story, and then later Blue Story, which was then turned into a feature-length film that was in cinemas and did quite well if I remember. Yeah man, those YouTube videos were making waves back then. Rap Man was being interviewed and getting deals left and right, and he said he was working on something big. It's really cool to see Supercell happen and be successful, and we're all looking forward to season 2. The evolution of black British music. But starting off with a docu-series, we need some education here. So this 5-part docu-series is about different music genres developed by black musicians in the UK and how one genre kind of led to the other. It really highlighted how Afro-Caribbean and African cultures and music, and yes, black American influences too, all kind of blended together to create these new genres and grow them and morph them into something that sounds unique. Like man, if you remember and were aware when garage birthed grime, especially with Wiley and that first big tune, you know, what you call it garage, what you call it urban, tell us what you call it then. Let me stop because I will say the whole verse. They mentioned Channel U. Listen, Channel U. Channel U was a time. Oh, and then the episode about UK Funky. Listen, Funky's not dead to me. Funky is not dead, okay? I still play Domino, Princess Naya, Egypt, okay? Kyla, everybody. Like, listen. And you know what? We still jump in the middle and skank. Yeah, this documentary was just a walk down memory lane. I can't recommend it enough. It was co-directed by Nikki Slim Ting Walker and Femi Oyoniran, who works behind the camera these days, but if you remember that name, he was Mooney on Kidulthood. The docuseries is available on Netflix and I think BET Plus because they co-produced it. His House. This is The Haunting Season 2, so I had to have a horror entry on the list. Directed by Remy Weeks in his first feature-length film. Before this, he directed a segment on the anthology movie Fright Bites. His House is about a refugee couple, Bol and Rial, who fled South Sudan and are granted asylum in England, where they are given a rundown accommodation to stay. They both struggle to assimilate and retain their culture while dealing with microaggressions and overt racism from their neighbours and caseworker. Bol and Rial find themselves being haunted by ghosts from their past, including their daughter who sadly did not survive the journey. The film is a fresh depiction of the haunted house genre and is very timely with how people treat refugees who have already suffered so much trauma in their lives, and in this case here, their trauma has manifested into a malevolent entity. When His House premiered at Sundance, it had rave reviews and it's available to watch on Netflix, as it is a Netflix original. Domino Day. Created by Lauren Sequeira, this limited series stars Sienna Kelly as Domino Day, a 24-year-old woman who just moved to Manchester. She also happens to be a witch that feeds off the energy of others like a succubus. It's okay, the first target is this really dodgy guy that violates her consent, so she dealt with him. Her actions of harming humans have caught the attention of the local coven who seek to bring her in. First off, the coven being majority women of colour, yes. 3 black witches, and a Southeast Asian witch too. Yes. I also love that this is set in Manchester. Oftentimes it's London because, yeah man, London, that's us, yeah? But if not London, then it's Bristol. So, you know, variety is nice, yeah? Big up the Mancunians. The show does some interesting things with its lore with regards to what Domino is. I'm not going to tell you what she is. I suspected succubus, and I think they wanted us to suspect succubus too because that's more common. But when they reveal what she is, it makes sense, especially since the few times that creature has been depicted in film, we've seen it in a particular way. Well, not just film, in video games more likely. There's not too many that show what she is. You're gonna have to watch it. But another interesting thing that they did with this show was showing the racism and classism in their witch society. So there's these elder witches that govern all of the covens. Bars. The elders have outlawed the practice of obia, which is a Jamaican spirituality derived from African spiritual practices. And why oh why has this very white elder witch society that has existed for, I'm assuming, a very long time, banned the practice of obia? Why have they done that? Have they also banned voodoo? What else have they banned that's African? Is it because of the ancestor veneration? You don't want to show these black beings too much power? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? Fuck Dr. Umar, but those one-liners really do hit. Anyway, the 6-episode miniseries originally aired on BBC 3, so it's on iPlayer and it's on AMC Plus in North America. If you like the Canadian show Lost Girl, I think you'll like this one too. Purcell Ascot has shown up 3 times already in this list. Good on him. Big Age, created by Bolu Babalola. She's a novelist, a screenwriter, journalist, and a funny Twitter person. Big Age premiered on Channel 4 UK, and it's about 4 20-something friends, Sade, Della, Zeke, and Tayo, a wonderful name, who all live in London trying to meet the expectations of what they feel they should have already accomplished at their age. It's very British Nigerian. I mean, even the title. Look at you at your big age, when your mate Temi is a lawyer and you're still here doing this. Oh God, I think I hit too close to home. Unfortunately, this show had only 1 series, and that's a sentence you'll be hearing quite often in this video. This one is not even available to watch on Channel 4 website anymore, so you'll have to acquire it through other means. Boxing Day. You know, I've never watched Love Actually. It always looked dead to me. I need to big up Emil Amin. If you're around my age, you recognize him from his early role as Trevor, aka Trife, from Kidulthood. And he has been putting in work in films and TV roles in the UK and abroad. Boxing Day is his directorial debut, and he co-wrote the screenplay with Bruce Purnell. Such a great choice of having a romantic comedy set during Boxing Day. I can't think of another, so it stands out. Melvin is a successful author who has been living in LA with his soon-to-be fiancée Lisa. With the launch of his new book, he returns to London with Lisa in tow to spend the holidays with his family after being away for 2 years. Things get awkward when Melvin reunites with his ex-girlfriend Georgia, who is a famous pop star known as Gigi, who is still close with Melvin's family. I remember watching the trailer and was sold. First of all, Black British rom-coms, we rarely get those. But the cast though, AJ Naomi King, Marine Jean-Baptiste, Leanne Pinnock, even though it's a bit obvious that she's way younger than Amin, childhood sweetheart wear. But you know, we'll allow it. You can watch Boxing Day on Amazon Prime. Champion and Queenie, because both series were created by Candice Carty-Williams. Champion is a music-based drama about sibling rivalry. Bosco is a famous rapper, the favoured son who usually finds himself in trouble. His sister Vita secretly writes all his songs with no credit. She wants to be a singer but suffers from stage fright. When Vita decides to pursue her dreams, it causes a rift in the family as she finds herself working with Bosco's rival. Unfortunately, Champion was cancelled, but it is worth a watch as it features a bunch of music artists making their acting debut, such as Ray Black. It's on BBC iPlayer and Netflix internationally. Queenie. After Champion, Carty-Williams was commissioned by Channel 4 to adapt her 2019 debut novel, Queenie, a coming-of-age dramedy about a 25-year-old woman living in South London, dealing with life, love, culture clashes, and more. I haven't read or watched Queenie yet. It has been on my list for the longest. I've heard some mixed reviews about the books, so that's why I've been procrastinating on it, but I will get to it. I've seen clips of the show and they look funny, so I will check the show out. I think this was a co-production with Hulu, Disney, whoever, so it should be available on Hulu, Disney Plus, whatever. Michaela Cole. Yes, Michaela Cole, the person, because she's an icon. I don't know how you can fix your mouth to say that you have not seen a black British TV show that isn't about gang warfare and hood shit, when Michaela Cole has made 2 spectacular TV shows, highly acclaimed, that are night and day, and she's set to helm a new series that is going into production next year. Come on now. So we have Chewing Gum. Chewing Gum is about Tracy, a 24-year-old Beyonce-obsessed shop assistant who has grown up sheltered in a Christian household and is severely sexually repressed. After breaking up with her horrible boyfriend that needs to admit that he likes men, she decides to lose her virginity so she doesn't end up like her sister. The second-hand embarrassment of this show will have you recoiling and watching through your fingers as if it's a horror movie. I'm not even exaggerating here. Tracy is unfortunately very relatable, and I mean that in the best way. She's incredibly endearing.
And I'm not 17. I'm a grown-ass woman. I just regularly make childlike mistakes.
It has 2 series, and Cole had the intention of creating a third one, but didn't for reasons we'll discuss in a moment. UK viewers obviously can watch on Channel 4, and I believe it's still on Netflix internationally. Although at one point I did see it on Hulu, HBO Max, and BritBox. I May Destroy You. I May Destroy You is a deeply personal project to Cole. In 2018, during a lecture at the Edinburgh Festival, Cole revealed that she was sexually assaulted while writing Chewing Gum, and this work is inspired by that. The series is about Arabella, a popular Twitter user turned novelist struggling to write her second book. While on a night out, she blacks out and wakes up in the morning knowing something happened to her and tries to piece together the events of that night. I May Destroy You is a dark comedy drama. It still has all the typical Michaela Cole quirks, but there's this rawness and messiness that's very real. Arabella is not the perfect victim because perfect victims do not exist. She's very messy even before the incident, and the trauma does not help. She doesn't behave the way that you would expect victims to behave. Her behavior is self-destructive. This series deals a lot with sexual assault, the big R word, violation of consent, and violation of boundaries, but there is comedic moments to break that all up. You can find this one on BBC iPlayer, HBO Max, since it was a co-production. I saw Wow TV in Germany. Internationally, yeah, you're gonna have to check for yourself. I do not know. Borders, created by Daniel Lawrence Taylor, the same man that brought us Time Wasters. Borders follows 5 teenagers from a lower income neighborhood in London who win scholarships to attend a prestigious boarding school. And essentially, they are fish out of water. It also stars Josh Tedeku, who played Tayo in Supercell. Look, Black British entertainment world is so small, you will see familiar faces all the time in big and small productions. The kids deal with identity, class, race, stereotypes, staying true to oneself, dating, and being a teenager. There's only 6 episodes and it's been renewed for a second series. Yes, you can watch it on BBC iPlayer and Tubi in North America. I did not know that they partnered with Tubi to release it internationally until I was watching Pillboy's video. I was skeptical at first, given the reputation a lot of Tubi originals have, but you know what? Some movies aren't that bad. I just watched a decent one the other day that stars the girl from, Blood and Water. It was alright. But anyways, yeah, it's a good thing that they released it on Tubi, since it is a free streaming service, so more people will be inclined to check it out. Riches, created by Abi Ajayi. The show follows the Riches family, who own the largest black cosmetics brand in the world, Flair and Glory. After the patriarch Stephen Richards passes away from a stroke, the children he left behind in New York come to London to claim their inheritance. Long-buried secrets rise to the surface as the New York and London siblings fight over who should control the multi-million-pound empire. This is very much a evening soap opera like Dynasty or even Empire, and I'm sad that it only had 1 series. It originally aired on ITV, and this was a co-production between Amazon Prime Studios, so you can watch it there too. Rocks. Rocks is a coming-of-age teen drama about a girl named Olushola, nicknamed Rocks, living in Hackney. Her mother suffers from mental illness and unexpectedly takes off, leaving Rocks to take care of her younger brother Emmanuel. Together, they dodge social services, who risk splitting them apart. Rocks is a loud, boisterous, seemingly independent and strong-willed girl, as she does find a way to earn money for her and her brother. But she's still a vulnerable kid put in a bad situation and forced to grow up too soon. Teresa Ikoko wrote the character so authentically. The movie isn't all doom and gloom of growing up in the ends and having absent parents. There is still so much joy that Rocks experiences by being with her little brother and being with her best friends. This film had me feeling really nostalgic about my high school days because that friend group looked a lot like my friend group of, mostly black girls, Asian girls, and a few white girls. We were different religions, different backgrounds, but we were all cool and we were all silly, and it just felt so real, and it was very cute to see. There's a lot of women behind the camera of this film too. So like I said, it was written by Teresa Ikoko and Claire Wilson, directed by Sarah Gavron, and produced by Amina Ayub Allen and Faye Ward. You can watch this in the UK on the Sky Store, Amazon, and Apple Plus via Fi Player. Internationally, I saw it like it was on Mubi. I'm not sure if it's still there though. Rye Lane. The screenplay was co-written by Nathan Bryan and Tom Melia and was directed by Rain Allen Miller. Rye Lane is about two people who have recently been dumped, having a chance encounter in a unisex toilet, and end up spending the day together, commiserating over their exes, getting to know each other, and exploring Rye Lane Market, and possibly starting a brand new relationship. This is such a feel-good romantic comedy. The leads have great chemistry and everything feels so bright and vibrant. The camera work is very interesting. It felt cartoonish a little bit, but I mean that in a really good way. This had a limited release when it first came out. I work near a cinema and planned on watching it right after work, but it wasn't playing there. The nearest place that it was screening was a bit of a trek. Like, do I need to go all the way to Southeast London just to watch this? Anyway, I bought a ticket, but because of train issues, I ended up missing it. I was upset that I missed it, but I'm happy I still supported it by buying a ticket, so there's that. I'm not the only person who has sung this movie's praises, and I know I won't be the last. Rye Lane is up there with all the other romantic comedy resurgence. If you have not watched it, do so now. It's on Disney Plus. Dreaming Whilst Black. I've saved this one for last because I think it best suits this video. This series was created and stars Ajani Salmon as Kwabena, an aspiring filmmaker who is stuck at a dead-end job at a recruitment center. His film school friend Amy has returned to England after spending 3 years in Nigeria. She now works at a very white production company and offers to pass on Kwabena's script Jamaica Road to the development team. The first series is about the struggle of being a creative. You went to film school or did your degree in production, and even though you may have had a little bit of experience, you still haven't broken into the industry, and you find yourself working at a dead-end job that is no way related to what you spent so much time and effort on. And even if you did manage to break into the industry, you are the one black face in a white place, and you are passed over for promotion, and nobody wants to listen to your ideas, and the microaggressions are constant. And as you are trying to break in with your unique story through traditional means such as networking, finding an agent, or through untraditional means such as crowdfunding, you can't quite get your project off the ground. Then you have the gatekeepers who don't want your story about the Windrush generation finding love. No, they want knife crime, hard life on the streets, growing up on the council estate, things they've greenlit in the past and want to keep greenlighting because it's familiar and it will sell. Look at Top Boy. What do you do in this situation? Do you bend to their demands and sell out and perpetuate the negative ideas of black people? Or do you stay true to yourself and risk going back to your dead-end job and giving up on your dreams? This show right here is so funny, weird, odd, and sadly very relatable. Like, I went into a quarter-life crisis as I was watching it. Yeah. It started off as a web series all the way back in 2018. It was later developed into a pilot for BBC 3 in 2021 and won some awards. The full series was a co-production between Big Deal Films and A24. Yeah. You can watch it on BBC iPlayer, SBS On Demand in Australia, USA. I think it was on Paramount Plus or Showtime or both. Don't know how it works over there. Yeah, it was really good. I think this is one of the best ones, and I can't wait for series 2. I really do hope you check some of these titles out. This is just a small sample size of recent releases. There is so much more that I wanted to include. And one last thing I wanted to address before leaving. In those missing TikTok videos, the most common reply to people listing out movies and TV shows that weren't all crime dramas was that people never heard of any of them before because they weren't advertised as much, which is fair. But if you truly are serious about finding more varied representation of Black people in media within the UK and outside of it too, to be honest, then we are the ones who need to be proactive. We can't expect to get spoon-fed the info on what's new, especially since there are so many things that are competing for your attention. Word of mouth is important, but I also recommend following websites, blogs, and accounts dedicated to it. The British Blacklist, Shadow and Act, and also Kashif Booth on TikTok and YouTube, who regularly posts Black British TV and film content. So there you go. You might find something new or discover something you missed out on. Happy Black History Month. As always, thank you to my ever-patient patrons, Cheyenne Lynn, Hariana Hook, Kemi, Mariah, M. Zaid, Joel Fins, Punk Rock Users, Des and Hill Richards Campbell, Hyphenated, Quinn, Sergeant Rock, Taylor Moore, Kiratika, Jess M, and Malpertius.